Hello, welcome to this video. My name is Michael Chu. This is the channel from Big Boss Capital. Today we're going to talk about what stocks to invest in now. Just a quick disclaimer, all materials shown here are for informational purpose only and not recommended as investment advice. We're going to focus on sharpening our skills, and again, we're going to talk about what to buy, when to buy. We're going to look at the general market direction as well. So we just want to recap what we went over last week in terms of what to look for in the market direction. So we want to look at recent weekly action and focus on 10, 21, and 50 days moving average, medium-term action, and we did talk about long-term direction last time. So this week, Nasdaq did have a big uptick here on Monday. It's blue, and then the next day it kind of shot up and fall back down to near the Monday's high, which is a very good sign in terms of like holding on to its gains. And then Wednesday it also closed at a high at the top of the range for the week. So then Thursday and Friday. Thursday was holding on again to the gains, and Friday it shot up a little bit and then come back down to the previous day's close. So very tight action. Also lots of strength because it shows how it's holding on to its previous day's gains. So this uptrend is quite strong right now. Last week it was stuck between this moving averages here, so the 10-day and the 50-day, and so that was the first real test of the 50-day since this recent pullback here. So so far right now it is above all moving averages, and you can also see the 10 and 21-day is coming back up, and it is possible, it's gonna rise above this 50 days. So basically the short term are moving average are rising above the medium term average. That's always a good sign. Now, as far as long term goes, we still have like a medium term and long term because it has tested 14,000 near the 14,000 mark twice now. So if it does come back up to 14,000, we're gonna see another test there. Now this will be the third time it will test it. So, but we're still a little bit further away from it. We're not sure how fast it will move up, or whether it will come back and test the moving average on the 50-day again. So for S&P, we are seeing similar action, but probably less bullish than the Nasdaq. So Monday went up again. We have the same uptick. Tuesday came back down to the previous day's close, and Wednesday it only moved up a little bit versus Nasdaq. It was moving up back to the high. But Thursday and Friday it kind of slowly moving up. Not quite to the Tuesday's high, Monday's high, but by the end of the week, you can see it's still close near the top of the range for the week. So it's still considered bullish action, just not as bullish as Nasdaq. Last week we were sitting at the 10 and 21-day, so that was a test there. So it did bounce off on Monday, so that's the big bullish sign right here. As far as medium term goes, we are very near the recent high, which was around 42.38, right? So we are getting closer to it. So and Nasdaq is kind of playing catch up in this case because they're still further away from their recent high, like the 14,000 mark. So we might still see Nasdaq continue to strengthen in coming week or so. Whereas S&P, it could break out soon too, but it's just a matter of, based on last week's action, you can see it's slowly moving up rather than on a quick pace. So the stocks that we've been following and potentially nearby points are BioNTech and Moderna. BioNTech shows really good action this week as it dropped on lower volume and also found support at 10 days moving average, and it's getting near a recent high. Moderna, 5 days of straight gains, which is very surprising as well. Um, it is also playing, when comparing where the chart is, it is, catching up as well. So last week it tested 50 days moving average. I mean, before it tests 50 days moving average twice, it also, break out above 10-21 days moving average. So let's just quickly touch on the chart just to see what we're talking about. So here we have drop on lower volume on Monday, and then on Thursday it also dropped on lower volume. So that's the good sign there. You can see the 10-day moving average, which is the green line here, is trending upward. The pink line, 21 days, is also trending upward, and the 50 days is also trending upward. So these are all good signs of this rally here. Now, obviously, you can see it's closing in on the previous high around 213, right? So previously, we also talked about the buy point where the pendant converged here, and it broke out right here. And so now, that was your first buy point. The second buy point we could see here is a potential if we look at recent high, this could be another buy point right here. So if it does cross over this week, you can have an earlier buy point based on the highs of this recent pattern. And obviously the last buy point would be lateral to the previous high, which is at 213. So those are the potential buy points here. When we look at Moderna, again, we see very strong action the last week. Now it's very near a buy point as well. 189 was the previous high. We also talk about the the breakout point right here where it crossed on this handle, and so somewhere around here, as it bounced off the 10 and 21 day, it was a potential buy point. So right now you can see the uptrend of the 10-day line and the 21-day line are pretty strong, right? Because it's landing upward, and then we have the 50-day line here. So, but obviously in this coming week we're gonna see a test of this buy point most likely, and we'll see what the action look like. Whether it just pass through it and never look back, or whether it pass through it and fall back down below this 189. Those are things to watch for. So we want to look at the computer software security group as well. This group is acting strong on Wednesday and also found support at 10 days moving average. So those are really good signs. So let's just look at a couple, look at this group here. So let me just put on some of my markups so it's easier to go through the details here. So yeah, we are seeing a strong uptrend right now, and you can see Tuesday was trading tight. Wednesday, it was a big jump that I just talked about earlier. Thursday, it fell back down, but it was closing near the top of the range, right? So it also found support at 10-day moving average right here. And then on Friday, it basically stood still where it was on based on Thursday's price. So what this is kind of saying is that we did close up higher on the week, as well as it found support at 10 days. So those are all good signs of the uptrend possibly continuing. And this trend so far, as you see from this green line right here that I draw, is slanting upward at a pretty strong slope. So it could mean potential has huge potential going forward. And obviously, this is in the Nasdaq, the stocks here, and you can see the chart overall tracing very similar to how Nasdaq chart looks like. So we're going to expect the same behavior, and this one are not quite at this point and not quite at this point right here. So, but we're going to watch for that because those are good signs. And just to this is the group chart, but but it kind of hint at where the huge potential is. So if you draw the trend line here at the top of the highs, we are seeing like we're coming near to this big test right here. So if we surpass this trend line, we could see a huge gain moving forward, right? So that's where we want to focus on. But obviously some stocks may already break out. So let's look at that. So we'll look at CrowdStrike. Very similar pattern, not much difference. You see the uptrend here. Yeah, so same thing. So this one looks like it already broke out based on this recent high. So this would be an aggressive buy point here. We'll look at Fortinet, and this one always has been the the strong stock chart in this group because it's been in an uptrend for a while now, despite what the group did, but this one is now at recent highs, and you can see that based on this pullback right here, um, you know we have this pullback and then we have this rise, right? So now we already passed the previous high, so we are at new highs right now, so those are really good action. um, so Palo Alto, very similar chart to the group chart, and we also talk about this trend line here where it broke above this trend line, and you see the huge gap up last week, I believe. Yes, last week, and this week it was just holding on to its gain. So again, not necessarily a bad thing that it didn't move up, but at least it's holding up its gains. And it's not even come close to testing the 10 days moving average. So meaning people are unwilling to sell even at near the 10 days moving average. So very good sign. Look at Minecast. Again, Minecast, this one has a very different chart than the rest. It has a nice cup base chart here. We saw this potential buy point based on this trend line here a couple weeks ago, and now it's moving higher, right? So again, so, we see a slight distribution here, but nothing significant in terms of right here on Tuesday. It's very slight, but it's still holding above 10 days moving average, which is another key support line. So that's the test there, and then it bounced off on Wednesday very strong. And the last chart here is FEYE. So again, also this one also very similar to Mimecast, almost looked like a cup base, broke out this long-term trend line here, and it's moving up nicely here. So most of these stocks are heading towards the previous high. That's what it looks like. So that so if you missed the earlier buy point, you could look for any pullback to the 10 days moving average. That would be another buy point. And then obviously the previous high here at $25. So also would be the next big test if it gets there. The next group is retail leisure products. This group was trading really tight, right? And the good thing is that the 10 and 21 days are starting to curve up. So that's a potential sign of more something that could be bullish going forward. So this group hasn't been moving up like I said in last week, we talked about that. However, it's holding up very strong near the moving average. So, we have to understand that this group already broken out. Now it's kind of pulling back very, very slightly to its 10-day moving average, and it's holding up well. So for the ones, again, patience is the game here, and you may want to, and we don't see any distribution signs here, no heavy selling volume, stuff like that. So that's a good thing, and also like you know where closes are like I said very tight. So it's continued to find support at 10-day. So I'm not surprised to see this, continue its uptrend eventually. But I'm not 100% sure when that's going to happen. But it's getting, like if we draw this pendant kind of formation, we are, like I said, we will start to see a decision being made soon. It could go up or go down. But yeah, it might be. So this is pull, right? But if we look at the group chart, it actually already pull out, like break above the pendant formation here. And so you can see this is a bullish sign for the whole group. So pool didn't perform as good as the group did. So that's one thing. If we look at um, Dick's Sporting Good, you can see it broke out right on Wednesday. So right here, this big jump day, obviously based on earnings news, but it was having lots of distribution. We talked about this last week, but it did change its momentum after the earnings result. So, so that is a good sign. Uh, Hayward, this is probably the strongest chart in the whole group. Its uptrend continues as it moves along above its 10-day moving average. So we have a small test here. We have another test here, right here. But it is moving up nicely recently, and it was up 5 days in a row. LESL, it's building this cup with handle pattern, and you can see it is, kind of moving in a bullish direction. As it did break out with this handle here with an aggressive buy point right here. There's another buy point here based on this handle 30.85. And Academy Sports and Outdoor. This also has a strong uptrend, and we talk about this pattern where it moves up really strong a few days and then goes sideways, moves up a few days, and goes sideways. Now it looks like it is starting to move up again, so we might see a few days of uptick here, possibly. It seems to be the pattern of this stock right now, but overall the trend is still good. It's moving. The moving averages are moving in a very strong direction. Commercial service staffing. So this one, has been setting up in a way. Hasn't moved as much as the other groups. 10 and 21 days are starting to curve up, so that might be a good sign. It's ready to move. Um, and if we look at the stocks here, manpower, it dropped on lower volume than previous update. Jobs has a slight distribution. KFRC holding up well, and Kelly Service KELYA holding up well. So let's just take a quick look at that group. And here it is. It is moving up. Like I said, 10-day right here is trading really, really tight with the 21-day, and then right here, this is the pattern right now, and the 50 days is going up. So it is moving slowly. It means it's been holding tight. Now it's starting to curve up those moving averages. So it could, I'm not sure whether it's going to go at this pace or whether it's going to go at this pace. It's hard to say at this moment, but it does look like the uptrend is, may continue soon. So we look at individual stock manpower. Again, we see that it did go below the 10 days moving average on Friday, right, and 21-day. So this will be a critical point for whether the stock will go down next week or whether it will rebound and move up. So watch for that on Manpower Group. As I mentioned, Jobs is has a powerful rally here, and then it has been trading sideways, moving up very slowly. And this last week, it came back to test the 10-day. So we're sitting at the 10-day, right? So again, same story with Manpower. It could move either direction. Watch out for that. So K-Force, this one, probably has a better chart just because we have a distribution on Tuesday where, very small. Like, the volume it is higher than previous day, but it wasn't above average. And it did fall to 21 days. So that was something to watch out for. And then, but the next day, it bounced back super strong, right? So that's a good sign, right? So right here, it bounced back really strong on Wednesday, and not only that, it tried to pass the all high here, and then the next day it decisively closed above that, so it make a new high here. So this is a bullish trend. So far this is probably one of the best looking chart compared to the previous ones we looked at. And Kelly Services, this one also trending upward very slightly. Thursday it kind of broke out of this this pattern here. Let me draw the trend line here from this highs, and it broke out on Thursday. So Friday it came back, right? So again, it usually does test the breakout. So this is a test right now. So but look at the volume, really low, right? So not many people want to sell on Friday, so that's a good sign that this uptrend may continue going forward. So something to watch for. Next group we want to look at is U.S. exploration and production. This group definitely has a strong uptrend, and the stocks are moving higher. So EOG didn't move much, slight distribution. DVN moving average trending upward. CRR moving average trending upward. XCC suffers slight distribution as it drops below moving average. So let's just take a quick look at this group. So you can see this uptrend since it pulled back, last month, and then in May it seems to be recovering, and now it's moving nicely along this 10-day moving average, which is very good sign. And this week, it did close at near the previous high. So this is EOG, and you can see it is having a little bit trouble breaking above its 10-day moving average. So that is how you say it? It's not the best because it should mimic the group chart, which is moving towards the recent high right here, but it's not. So this might be a potential problem. But maybe it will make a move this week. I'm not sure, but it's still, like I said, it's still holding between 10 and 21 days. So again, patience may be the game here. It's hard to say whether it will break down, but it could also potentially move up. Devon, this one has a nice cup breakout here, and it's been testing its 10-day and 21-day here. So far it's been successful, and now it's sitting back at 10-day moving average again. So that's a good sign. CLR Continental, same pattern, right? Broke up. Well, this one hasn't quite broken out yet, decisively anyway. So something to watch for in coming week. And XCC Climatics, very similar as a base here, broke out. Okay. So you can see all of them have very similar pattern recently, right? Very volatile. This one did suffer a distribution on Monday with high volume. However, if it did find support at 50-day moving average right here, so um, that seems to be a good sign, right? So it did have its big test here. Now it seems to be moving up now, but it's still below 1021 day. So if it does break above 1021 day again, that could be a potential buy point, right? So most likely we're gonna see it coming soon, somewhere, right here, um, in this coming week, whether it'll pass this test of breaking above the short-term average. Uh, we do want to talk about another group this week, which is mining metal ores. Basically, the materials, the raw materials being used are getting, there's lots of talk about inflation. So it seems like this group is, have a huge potential still. Um, it is holding up strong right now based on the chart. They have been moving sideways as the 10 days moving average catch up. And so most of them are moving sideways, and WPM has a slight distribution. So let's just take a quick look at this. So this is WPM, Wheaton precious metals, and you can see, this long base here, and it broke above the long-term moving average. This black line is the 200-day. So since it broken out, it seems to be holding really tight, and then the 10-day moving average is catching up. The green line is catching up to where its price is. So if we look at the group chart, it's a very similar pattern. You have this long base here, and now it's moving back up, and here same thing. You see this huge trend update here, and then it's been moving sideways. But this is a very tight action, and you can see the 10-day line, the green line here, converging with the prices. So that's a good sign. So what we want to see is potential bounce off this 10-day and move up that way. And you can see all these trend lines are, kind of, uh, moving up as well, right? And now we see 50-day potentially crossing 200 days soon. So 50 days, the red line here. So let's look at other stocks here. We'll have AEM. So at Nickel Eagle Mines, similar chart holding right here. KL Kirtland, same chart. You see they all have similar pattern. So we have to kind of take this into perspective, right? Which is we have this strong uptrend here. Now, it not only didn't pull back, but it's just going sideways, which is again not necessarily a bad action. It's actually a very good action. So it's digesting all its gains here, right? So when it's going sideways, it means that it's rather than going down, it means that people are not willing to sell even after the recent month or two gain here. So very bullish action actually. And GFI Gold Fields, again you see this similar action here. So it did have a little bit of distribution here, but the distribution are happening near at the top, so that's still a good sign that it's holding up really well at this level. Okay, thank you for watching this video. If you like what you see, subscribe, give us a thumbs up on this video, and you can contact us at email support@macbosscapital.com. Talk to you later. Bye bye.